Hope you're in for some holiday cheer on this episode of Profs Huddle.
Rowan basketball is back into the swing of things, and both the men's and women's teams are starting to play tremendously.
We'll also wrap up this past year in Rowan sports and sit down with one of the assistant coaches of the softball team with a story you won't want to miss. Profs Huddle starts right now.
Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to the season finale of Profs Huddle. I'm Nick Rizzo.
And I'm Grace Shakaitis. Time to spruce things up with men's basketball as they took on TCNJ this past Wednesday. The Profs, who are 4-2 on the year, take on the Lions, who are 6-1. For the Profs, this is their first NJAC matchup this season. The Profs started off strong with Khalif Mears sinking a three from the corner. And not even 1 minute later, Josh Wright puts up another one to give the Profs an early lead. But the Lions decided to be a couple of Grinches as they stole the lead back in no time. Nick Kosh outdid himself for the Lions as he dribbles around the Prof defense and three defenders to go in for a layup. He mimics himself the next play, swiftly passing the Profs for another layup. Seems like the Snow Miser paid him a visit with how much ice he was shooting. His ball control seemed to be as bright as Rudolph's nose that night because Kosh had no problem getting past the Profs defense again to score another layup. The Profs tried to get back some momentum back as Khalif Mears would rush in for a layup. Then a couple plays later, he would do the same thing off a fast break and a pass from Jameer Spivey as he took the ball down court for another layup. This would cut the Profs deficit down to 15 and make the score 53-38. Time was still going down, but the Profs had some fight left as Mears would stay on the nice list and score another layup from down court. Now the Heat Miser must have paid a visit too because Mears was on fire and would score again by putting up a three. But he couldn't have all the fun as Chris McCarron put up a three to try and shorten the Lions' lead, but that wouldn't be enough to win as the Lions would win as from a score of Prof 72 and the Lions 82. Still building the same snowman with men's basketball following Wednesday's loss to TCNJ. We talked to head coach Eric Brennan about the team's performance through their first 5 games.
New men's basketball coach Eric Brennan is embracing the style changes from longtime assistant to first-time head coach.
I think this is the first time. You don't really get to choose the style as an assistant coach. You know, you can offer input. So some of the exciting part about becoming a head coach is putting your own spin on the game and how you want to play. But yeah, it was fun getting to understand the team and what I think will make us successful.
After starting the year 5-3, the Profs are off to a good start, but have some losses they want back.
We've had some really good wins and some challenging losses. So I think the group has shown some resilience though. We'll definitely need that moving forward into Saturday. Just took a loss at home to a good TCNJ team, but you know, we've faced some early challenges, so how we respond will be crucial. But I believe in these guys. I have a lot of faith in them, and I think they have faith in each other. So still excited for the rest of the season, and I think you know, we can still make a strong push.
That push will have to start with improvements made on the defensive side of the floor.
Yeah, defense. Absolutely. We haven't been good enough defensively. We'll drill it every single day, and that has to be part of our identity. We just haven't been good enough. Scoring will come. A lot of times our defense drives our offense, and when our defense, you know, isn't locked in, isn't clicking, you can see our offense struggle because of that. So that'll definitely be a point of emphasis as we move forward.
As the season moves forward, the goal each day remains the same.
We just got to win Saturday against William Patterson, right? We got to get back to winning each day and focus on the next opponent. So that's it. The expectation is to win the next game. You know, again, like the most important one is the next one, and that's what we got to be focused on.
Beat William Patterson they did. On the second day of December, the men's dominated the Pioneers in festive fashion by winning by 25. Khalif Mears continued to stay on fire with Jazier Knoll as they combined for 46. Tonight, the Profs face off against Rutgers Camden Scarlet Raptors in what is promised to be an action-packed NJAC matchup. Tip-off is at 5:30 in the ESB Gymnasium.
While the men's team got back on track against William Patterson, the women have been sledding through the competition, and that continued last Wednesday. The Profs welcomed conference opponent TCNJ to Glassboro as they sought their first NJAC win of the season. We'll kick things off in the first quarter here as Julia Sotaro takes the entry pass and slices her way to the rim for 2. Eliana Santana is up next as she responds with a bucket of her own inside the paint. That was 2 of her team-high 17 points in the game. She has been on an absolute tear. And she can do it all, as this time she bangs a 3 and her veins are frosty. Here we go again, you know the drill. Another 3-ball, this time by Kate Herlihy, and the Profs are starting to gain some momentum. But the Lions respond as Izzy Lazier makes it rain with a long-distance shot to give TCNJ the lead right back. Just a few possessions later, Sabrina Arujo is left wide open in the corner and steals the lead back by drilling the triple. And the Profs are not being elfish, as this time it's Savannah Holt who gets in on the long ball party. She shoots the bow and arrow, and the Profs are up 4. And are you kidding me? The Profs are on fire. Jess McLaughlin extends the lead to 7. Christina Johnson at the line now. She misses. Herlihy puts it back. This is a strong second half for the Profs, and it will continue here. Herlihy does it again. This time from the top of the key, the Profs are dominating now, up 13. And we've seen a lot of offense in this game, but guess what? The Profs play defense too. Nicole Mallard rips the ball away from the Lions, feeds it to Herlihy, and she does the rest. Profs up 15. The Lions aren't going down quietly though. This is no laughing matter for them. Katie Fricker cuts the deficit down to 12. It was all for naught as Arujo says, "I have the final slay," and drills her 4th 3 of the game to lock up the 71-51 win, the Profs' first in conference play this season. Following that dominating performance, Kate Pearson and company traveled to William Patterson and took home another victory. Eliana Santana led the team in scoring again with 15 points, followed by Kate Herlihy with 12. The win marks the Profs' 3rd straight. The Profs now sit at 5-3 on the young season, and Coach Pearson has begun to carry over her success from Cabrini University, where she coached 14 seasons and won 5 conference titles. I got a chance to catch up with the 10th head coach in Profs history, and it sure seems like her and her team are beginning to click.
The Rowan women's basketball team captured the NJAC crown last season, and under new head coach Kate Pearson, they are now looking to repeat.
You come over from a very successful program in Cabrini, coming over to another successful program that's had success in the past, Rowan. What are some of the things that you've brought over from Cabrini that you're trying to implement onto your new team?
I think a lot of the success that we've had has started with relationship building with the team. So we're trying to incorporate that with coaches to players, players to players, building trust within the department and trying to create kind of a family atmosphere. And then when you can kind of build that trust off the court, you're hoping that starts to transfer on the court as well.
And I know that your alma mater is Scranton as well. Played them in the season opener. What was that feeling like for you?
It was just interesting that it became kind of full circle that way. That was not something that I scheduled. It was on there. So it was a unique scenario because, it was a new opportunity here. But then I had a lot of old faces in the gym that day. My old coach from Scranton was there. And then I also had a bunch of Cabrini alums who were there. So it was pretty cool to kind of have all those worlds collide.
And then, obviously, I mentioned it, NJAC champions last year, looking to repeat once again and possibly go even further, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's always, every time you come out here, it's always a goal that you want to cut down nets at the, once the end of the season comes. So this is definitely a goal that the girls have their eyes set on.
Being defending conference champions comes with a lot of pressure, but it sure does seem like Rowan women's basketball is a program ready to accept that challenge.
Let's take a look at what's next for the Profs. They will host Rutgers Camden at home tonight at 7:30. It appears the Profs are starting to gain some high self-esteem following 3 straight victories, so they will ride that momentum into their 3rd consecutive conference matchup.
Hold on, you guys should hang on for your dear life because Matt has a very special gift to wrap up this season of Profs Huddle.
Around this time, it has become a tradition for music lovers to check their Spotify Wrapped to see who their favorite artists of the year were. Here at Profs Huddle, we thought we'd put our own twist on it. Starting off with the field hockey team this year, the Profs took the NJAC title for the 3rd year in a row. Next up, the Rowan softball team had a glorious run to the College World Series for the first time since 2018 as they placed 5th down in Marshall, Texas. And let's not forget how both basketball teams claimed the NJAC title this past year too, while making it to the NCAAs. Let's finish strong, just as the men's cross-country team has in back-to-back years, becoming NJAC champions. A lot of memories this past year. these student athletes will have for a lifetime. As I mentioned, Rowan's softball team made a run for the NCAA title this past season. That wouldn't have been possible without their assistant coach, Bird, who impacts the lives of kids beyond the diamond. Take a look.
Coach Bird is entering her 5th season as an assistant coach for Rowan's softball team. As a social worker dealing with cases of child abuse, she turns to softball as an outlet for the mental strain of her full-time job.
I'm the Assistant Director of the Institutional Abuse Investigation Unit for New Jersey's Department of Children and Families. My unit investigates child abuse and neglect in out-of-home facilities, so like schools, daycares, foster homes, group homes. And as the Assistant Director, I manage all the regional managers. I also do all the case practice regarding any state policies or practices, and I read all the higher findings of substantiated cases of abuse for final review before they're mailed out. I couldn't do my real job, my assistant director job, if I didn't have coaching, because I was fortunate to be able to coach about 10 years in high school before I came to Rowan in 2017, so that's really leveled me out. It's given me an escape. Softball was my life growing up. I played a lot of softball, and it saved me, it got me into college. That has been my escape from reading about really sad situations in the state of New Jersey regarding child abuse and neglect. So I'm glad I've had that outlet. I've been fortunate. I don't know if I could have stayed this long doing it if I didn't have that.
Even though her job at the Department of Children and Families requires a serious and professional demeanor, Coach Bird also understands the importance of keeping things fun on the softball field.
Being an assistant, I think it's easier when you're coaching that you're not the head coach. So when I coached with her, she was the head coach at Clearview, like you need the good cop, bad cop. And over the years, you need somebody that people can go to before the head coach, or how to have a little bit of fun. Like we have a little bit different fun than you would have with coach. So it's just a little differently, and that's kind of how I'm kind of at work. That being a professional, you have to be able to do something where you have fun. So, sometimes at work we'll have fun, but we deal with really serious bad things. So sometimes you have to alleviate and have a good sense of humor and know how to take a break on yourself and have a little self-deprecating humor and doing goofy stuff that we definitely do with Coach Wilson. I definitely do when I'm coaching, obviously, my dance routines or something.
Yeah.
But
Coach Bird and Rowan softball will look to continue their success from last year as the team gets ready for the upcoming season this spring.
Thanks to our Adam Torrano for that story on Coach Bird and how she balances her full-time job off the field and her part-time job on.
Thanks, Matt. Hope everyone stayed on the nice list this year. Again, I'm Greg Shakaitis.
And I'm Nick Rizzo. Thank you all for tuning in to our season finale of Profs Huddle. Have a happy and blessed holiday season.